Hi, I'm Melanie from Nova Scotia, Canada, and this is Adventures in Groceryland, the week 3 meal video of my $25 grocery budget challenge of 2025. Yes, I want to spend my $25 and not one penny more in cash, but I want to increase my buying power any way possible so that I get more value for my money than just $25. I used tools like store incentive programs, so points programs and coupons, shopping the flyers, meal planning. I use all different kinds of strategies, and I find that it really works for me. And I hope that you are able to take some part of what I do and make it relevant to how you shop for your groceries and your family. Thanks for tuning in. We had some really fabulous meals this week. Yes, I have $25 to spend plus whatever or however I can increase my buying power, but I just wanted to do a quick reminder in week 3 that this is what I'm coming into week 3 with as my pantry. So this and the groceries that I have purchased are going to be what I have available to me. I've separated the oats. This is 1/3 of a cup, which is exactly what I need for a half loaf of bread, and that gave me enough that I was able to split into 2 separate instant oatmeal breakfast packs. Breakfast on this dreary day is going to be oatmeal with apple, cinnamon, and brown sugar. So today I'm going to be extremely attentive to the oatmeal since last week I scalded it to the pot due to my inattention. All right, this looks great. We'll get just a tiny little bit of milk on. Perfect. Oatmeal for breakfast. Leftover French toast from last week for lunch today. All right, and here we go with the syrup. Yum. Delicious. For supper tonight, I am going to clear up 2 different things of leftovers. This is leftover taco meat, taco, like the ground beef and the lentils that I made. And this is the leftover 7-layer dinner. Now, the 7-layer dinner doesn't have any meat, so I'm just going to use this to top this. We're going to have it together, and it's going to be great. This smells fabulous. Looks good. Yummy. Leftovers for supper. Breakfast today is going to be the first of my 2 strawberry kiwi smoothies. I'm going to use half the kiwi. I'm going to use 2 of the drinks because I don't want to use any of my milk. And I'm going to put extra yogurt, some flax, and I'm using half the banana. Oh, I need to get some Swiss chard from the garden. All right, so far we have the banana, half the kiwi, some yogurt. I'm going to add in these 2 yogurt drinks. Ooh, see, there's that pink. Strawberry flavored things should be pinkish if they have strawberries in them, because strawberries are pink. We've got some flax. And also some Swiss chard from the garden. Greens are really the produce that you can grow yourself that just keep on giving over and over and over again. I planted the Swiss chard in probably May or June, as well as the kale that I have. It is now November the 1st, and they are still growing quite healthily. Starting to turn green from the Swiss chard, but still has that pink tinge. This looks great. And again, 2nd week in a row that I have too much. Doesn't matter. I'm not sharing with the handsome one this week, since he said last week that was just for friendliness that I gave him that. So I'm just going to put whatever extra there is in the fridge, and I'll drink it throughout the rest of the day. This tastes absolutely amazing. Wow. The kiwi and the strawberry together and the banana. Oh my goodness. So good. Once cut, fruit doesn't last that long, so I've got the half of the banana left and the half of the kiwi left, and I will have to have smoothie again tomorrow. That's okay, it was really delicious. So what I made gave me 1 full cup, which I've already drank, and this much. I'm just going to cover this up and pop it in the fridge and either drink it mid-morning or save it and have it with my lunch. This is just one of my homemade beeswax wraps and an elastic, and that's great. For lunch today, I'm going to make soup and grilled cheese. The soup is going to last for 2 lunches. And yes, I know that I've been having soup just alone without the added grilled cheese or the added extra. But this kind of soup is much thinner and much less hearty than the homemade soup I've been making. So that's what we're going to do. I've got marble, a little bit of cheese curds, a tiny little bit left of this free Parmesan that I had starting. So we'll see what we can get out of this. I am going to make grilled cheese. This is what I've got left of my little 1/4 pound of butter. I'm going to use this, but I'm also going to save the wrapper, and that can be used for greasing a pan or baking or something like that. This is incredibly thin slices of the marble cheese, and then I took 3 cheese curds and also cut them extremely, extremely thin. Now let's get the top of the grilled cheese on there. Lunch today is grilled cheese sandwich, a couple cherry tomatoes from the garden, and the remainder of the smoothie that I made for breakfast this morning. And just take a look at that grilled cheese. Look at that. Looks so good. I scrounged up a couple ketchup packs, and I am going to use that with my grilled cheese. It's going to make it extra tasty. I've got the bread maker open, but we are not making bread. First time on the challenge, we are going to have pizza. I'm excited. I'll just leave this here. I'm making a half batch of the pizza dough, and that will give me enough for 1 pizza, which should get me 2 meals, either 2 suppers or a supper and a lunch. This is exciting stuff. The pizza dough's ready. I'm just getting ready to roll it out. Got my pizza stone prepped. Let's get started. I could have just had a vegetarian pizza. So I have mushrooms and tomatoes, onion in here, peppers. I've got Swiss chard. I even have broccoli and cauliflower that if I wanted to add that on here, I could thaw a couple pieces and do that. But I don't want to. So I also don't want to waste one of my substantial ingredients. So I got this little package. It was the hamburger that I had bought 2 1-pound packages, and one of the packages I separated into a half a pound and a third of a pound, and what was left was this. So I'm going to cook this up, and that's going to be my main meat topping for my pizza. And I might do broccoli anyways. As I've been using Swiss chard, I've been cutting the stems off, and I'm saving them in a little baggie in the fridge. And the next time I have a recipe where celery would be appropriate, I'm going to cut these all up and use them in lieu of celery. Ground beef is cooking up nicely. One of the items that I have free in my, what I'm considering free preserves, is pizza sauce that I made. And let's get this on the pizza. This is looking great. You don't have to have huge quantities of ingredients to make something that's really delicious. I cut everything up incredibly fine. So the tomatoes, they're sliced really thin. Like, there, easy one to grab. They're sliced like super thin. The onions diced up incredibly, incredibly tiny. The peppers, incredibly tiny. Everything is cut with enough pieces that I can get just a little bit on pretty much every aspect of the pizza. Perfect. And I didn't need to put any seasoning on because when I made the pizza sauce, I heavily seasoned it. I want more cheese than this, but I didn't even want to use this much cheese, if you know what I mean. I would love, love, love to have like double cheese on this pizza, but I want to use as sparingly as possible so that I can make that cheese last, because I don't have any plans for cheese in week 4. I hope this turns out as good as what I'm hoping that it will. So yummy! A tiny bit crispier than what I would like, but man, this smells so good. I know this was a little bit crispier than what I had intended, but man, this pizza was good. And I have 4 slices left over. Very exciting. Smoothies again today. Half the kiwi, the other half of the banana. This time I'm actually going to start with just one of the little yogurt drinks and see if that is liquid enough. And if so, I'm not going to add the second one because, again, yesterday I had too much. This is a much better quantity. Perfect. Smoothie for breakfast. Cold pizza for lunch today. Lunch of champions. The shrimp are really, really large on here, and there's 5 shrimp on each skewer, but 10 shrimp is too much just for a meal for me. So I'm just going to use 1 skewer. I think this will be plenty. I've got the veggies in here. I've got this covered up so that the steam will help to thaw the shrimp, and I'm just cooking the noodles. This is looking great. Instead of mixing it all together, I think I'm going to lay the noodles in my bowl or on my plate and then stack this on top of it. This looks and smells fantastic. I'm pretty excited. I am making hamburger soup. I'm using 1/3 of the pound of the ground beef that I purchased. I'm going to definitely be using probably half of the stock cubes here, or maybe not. There's 12 in here, so no, I'm not using 6, but I might use 4. Definitely carrots, potatoes, onions. And these are Swiss chard stalks that I've been saving as I've been using the actual leafy part of the Swiss chard and things like smoothies and cooking. And I'm going to cut those up and use them in lieu of celery. I haven't 100% decided if I'm going to put in broccoli and cauliflower. We'll see how thick it is. I am going to put in some of the green beans. I'm going to cut them up fine, like small, like pea-sized. I'm definitely putting in some rotini, and I've got it set out to remind me that I might want to use some of the beans as well. We'll see. I'm looking for a hearty soup, and I'm looking to get 4 meals, 4 lunches out of it. If I end up getting more than that, great, but I want it to be really hearty. I'm going to use 1/3 of the onion in the soup, this part. This is my soup pot. I've got the 1/3 of the onion. This is my soup pot. I'm going to cook the ground beef and the onion directly in the pot so that any residue in this pot from cooking it will actually stay in the soup. This is one of the garlic cloves that I traded the handsome one for. I'm going to use 4 bouillon cubes. So that's 4 cups of water. Actually, I've already put the bouillon packages away. I'm just assuming that it is 1 cube to 1 cup or 250 milliliters of water, but I should look that up. I'm darn glad that I was pulling this out to look again. Dissolve 1 cube in 1/2 liter of boiling water. That's 500 milliliters. So I can actually put in double the amount of water that I just added, and that's fantastic. Swiss chard stalks diced in lieu of celery. Potatoes. I'm putting in more potatoes than that, double that amount actually, but that's just what fit on my cutting board right now. Carrots, again, I'm putting in the entire carrot that I had set out. That's just what fit on my cutting board right now. This is a third of the remaining beans that I have left. It's looking really good so far. Of course, thin. None of the vegetables in there have started to cook yet. A handful of chai-colored pasta, and that's all of that I'm putting in. I was saving this piece of cabbage because I'd really like to do the rice again. That was really good, but I think I'm going to bite the bullet, and I'm going to put half of what I have left in the soup. Cabbage gives things such a good flavor. Cabbage. And I don't think I'm going to put any of the beans in. I think I'm going to save those. I should have got lentils or split peas or something like that instead, but I didn't. I got beans. I'm also going to throw in some of my dehydrated kale. We're getting there. Looks great. Now let's let it simmer away. I just got the idea that tomatoes might be great in the soup, so I just walked outside. I pulled in these ones, which is what I'm going to wash, cut up, and add in. This one obviously is not ripe yet or ready, but it fell off the plant. So I brought that inside. That can ripen, and I can use that later. Breakfast today is apple, banana. No, what did I put in this? I can't even remember anymore. Apple cinnamon muffins. Early this morning, I made soup. This is hamburger soup. I'm quite excited to try this. I did taste it. It's actually very yummy. And I was hoping to get 4 lunches out of this. I'm definitely going to get 4 lunches out of this, and I'm going to be able to freeze some for future lunches. I ate down some of the broth so that you could see this is just loaded with vegetables and goodness. For supper tonight, I'm going to have poutine. This looks delicious. I'm excited. I love poutine. So when you consider that even if I was paying full price for those nibbler packages, it's cheaper often than buying just plain straight cheese curds. And I got 2 poutines. So I'm in week 3, poutine here. I had a poutine in week 1. And I also cut up some of the cheese curds, and I used it when I had like a cheesy bread. I also used it when I was making grilled cheese. And I used it for a couple other things too. So I feel like it's a really good value. Not on sale, but of course, I like to buy everything on sale. It's an early morning, very early. It is still dark out. And we are going to have some toast with butter and some homemade jam. Yay! I am working from one of the work sites today, and this is my little collection of items I'm taking with me. Of course, lunch. So this is the hamburger soup. I've got an apple as well. I'm taking a spoon because there's never any guarantee that there's a spoon in the little kitchenette there. And you can see behind here, I've got jars. I am going into town specifically, so I am going to try to get my bulk barn shop done for the items that I want for week 4. Just makes sense. I'm already going to town. I just picked the last of my green onions. It's quite cold today. It's 5 degrees. It's around 6:30 at night. So I'm really thinking that if I don't get these in here and the tomatoes in here tonight, that's it. Very quickly, the handsome one and I picked all of these. Like there's ones that are orange. There's lots still on the bottom. I just wanted to get these inside, and we'll clean them up to store them for ripening. Yeah, I need to figure out what I'm doing. These turned out quite great since I cleaned them. I am going to make an omelet for supper. I want some of these green onions in it. I'm going to put dice up this tomato to go in it. There's going to be cheese. I'm also making bacon. I have yet to harvest it, but there's going to be either Swiss chard or kale in the omelet. I'm also going to add in, I have one mushroom left, and I have some green pepper and a little bit of red pepper. We'll start with the bacon first in the pan, and once this cooks, then I'll do the egg, the omelet. I'm freezing half of the pack of bacon right off of the bat. Yeah, I'd never eat a pack of bacon fast enough just by myself. Green onion in with the egg. I whisked 2 eggs up. In here already I have the green onion, peppers, and I added in some broccoli. I have cut up the last of my mushroom and that small tomato. I'm going to add these in. I'm not going to try to dump it in one-handed because that will end in disaster. All right, this is going to be great. And I'm not putting the cheese in the egg. I'm going to lay the cheese on it, and just as I flip, like, you know, turn the omelet in half. My bacon turned out perfect. And my omelet's going to turn out awesome as well. I cut some thin pieces of cheese. I'm going to lay it on here before I flip the omelet, you know, in half. Looks good. A little more cooking before I close it up. Fold it. Fold it, not flip it. Fold it is the word I was looking for. I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. Omelet, bacon, and toast for supper. And that is the last of the homemade bread. I'm not going to make any more this week. I'll save what I have towards week 4. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't even know. I have 2 more nights of meals. I don't know what I'm making the next 2 nights. Maybe I'll make some. All right, this is what I've come up with so far. So this is 2 layers. This is just 1 cardboard box and I've got them like this. I still have this much that I need to figure out get another box, something like this. And these are only the tomatoes that were outside of the greenhouse. I still have tomatoes on plants inside the greenhouse. These are some of the ones that I'm ripening just on the counter. I'm on the run this morning and I forgot about breakfast, so I'm eating an apple. That's what it is today. Soup for lunch today. This soup is so good. Really, really good. For supper tonight, I am going to have chicken strips. I'm going to have some boiled, these are small, little, newer potatoes. I'm just going to quarter them, and I'm going to boil them and serve them with a little bit of butter and salt and pepper. And I'm going to have broccoli. And I just want to say that I'm getting a blossom on my cactus. I'm excited. Potatoes are boiling. Tenders are in. Chicken fingers, broccoli, boiled potatoes, and the boiled potatoes are topped with some plain yogurt, grated cheese, and green onion, and a garnish of tomato. Looks great. Oh, I put a tiny little bit of grated cheese on top of the broccoli. Looks good. Muffin for breakfast. I'm working from a work site again today, so I'm hamburger soup for lunch, and I need to get a spoon. Quick supper tonight, I'm going to use the spaghetti sauce that I froze from week 1, and I'm going to have spaghetti. I'm excited. I love spaghetti. It's a favorite of mine. Spaghetti just a cooking away. Looks great. This looks amazing, smells great. I'm extremely excited. And I actually have a little bit left of that Parmesan cheese, that free item from long ago, way back in week 1. Let me get it. Looks amazing. I'm excited. I just love spaghetti. And the handsome one doesn't really like it, so it's nice for me to take this opportunity to just eat lots of it. Week 3 is done, and we are really starting to accumulate a pantry. You'll see some things missing because I've used them all, but lots of things that we've got lots left. I'm going to quickly go through. This is the new bag of potatoes. I used a couple out of it. Butter, and mistakenly, the handsome one opened the butter that I had set out, put it in the butter dish, and used some of it. So some of it is gone, but not from me. We have brown sugar left. I know this looks like 2 dozen eggs, but in this top one, there's only 1 egg left. I have 3 carrots. Of the little bag of potatoes from week 1, I have 4 left. 1 breakfast pack of oatmeal. I have, I'd say this is over half of the cheese block. A tiny piece of cabbage. I've got bouillon, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaghetti squash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 apples. Yogurt, flour, part of a jar of spaghetti sauce, almost a full bottle of syrup, a tiny, the handsome one has gone outside now. He was making a racket and dropped some ice cubes. So, a tiny bit of pasta, 2 cans of tomato soup, 2 cans of mushroom soup, 2 cans of vegetable soup. That is 3/4 of my onion. Oh yeah, bacon grease. And in the bottom, there's 3 of those little containers in a row, is leftover potatoes from supper last night. I have full package of cream cheese. I have 5 of those Activia yogurts. This is my scrap bag, and in the freezer is another scrap bag started because that one is full. I have rice, traded with the handsome one. I have oatmeal. That is the exact amount for a loaf of bread. So I removed that first, but I had it in a different container. I had to go to the bulk barn, and so I needed more containers. It'll be cleaned up next week. Bottom line, I guess it'll be cleaned up next week. I have nutmeg, cinnamon. No, this is the garlic. Nutmeg, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, and yeast. I have 1 muffin left. This is uncooked bacon. So I'm using this in a recipe next week. And I have the breakfast sausages, 2 mild Italian sausages. Oh yeah, my beans from last week. I had to take those out of the container too. Again, those will be back in next week. I have 2 pork chops. This is half of that package of bacon that I froze. I have 1, 2, 3, 1/3, if you can see that, 1/3 pounds of ground beef. I have some green beans. This is a cooked chicken thigh. That is a recipe ingredient for me. I have lots of broccoli cauliflower mix left. I have 1 entire unopened package of the Nibbler cheese curds. I have 4 frozen bananas in here, 4 or maybe 5, can't remember. I have the rotini package. I only used a handful out of this in the soup. I have the shrimp, and inside the shrimp there were 6 skewers. I've used 1, so there's 5 skewers left. I have only used 4 chicken strips out of that package. And this is frozen bricks of the beef vegetable soup that I made this week. So that's for future lunches. And then underneath that is 4 bricks of the squash soup that I made in week 1. That's everything. I think this is pretty phenomenal. So I've spent right around $75 cash. I've eaten. I think that I've eaten quite well. I have had some feedback that the portions look small. I promise you that I'm only showing you if what I'm making, like I'm giving myself the first serving, it looks pretty, I've plated it, and then I take a picture. And if I want seconds, I have seconds, but they're not on the video. So sometimes I have seconds, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I have lots of leftovers and sometimes I have none. But I promise you that if I was hungry, as you can see, I have lots of food that I can eat. I feel pretty satisfied with this and can't wait for week 4. So many delicious meals. My top picks this week were the pizza. Even though I slightly overcooked it, it was still really good. I actually really liked the hamburger soup, and the lo mein with the shrimp was so yummy. Very, very delicious. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for Monday for the week 4 grocery haul video. It's pretty fantastic. I'm already done the shop. Hope you all have a good weekend.